Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, operations at the Barbados Water Authority were disrupted today due to industrial action. CBC understands workers refused to return to their posts after meeting with union representatives this morning. This prompted another meeting which lasted several hours between the workers, General Manager Keith Halliday, and senior members of the Barbados Workers Union, including General Secretary Tony Moore. A spokesman for the group says workers are fed up with a number of issues, including the failure of management to properly communicate with them.
The way how the workers being treated right now at the Barbados Water Authority is unacceptable, because all they come doing all the time is giving away a bag of stories. They may really come in and sitting down with the workers, even to hold a meeting to say, well, we got this going on and this is what we're looking at and this is the improvements that we're trying to make within the system. Every time you see a situation like this arise, the first thing that will happen, you will hear them talking about the laying off of workers. You know, that's like threatening workers, trying to make you vulnerable so you won't really go a mouth to speak, you know, and that's unacceptable.
Well, during the meeting this morning, workers sought clarity on several issues, including the payment of outstanding increments and whether they could expect a 5% pay increase announced by Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley earlier this year. However, the workers say they were informed that the authority was already in a tough spot financially, as its monthly expenses are way more than its monthly revenue of approximately $10 million. Well, late this evening, the Barbados Workers Union's General Secretary Tony Moore issued a statement about the matter. She said the management of the BWA sought a legal opinion on whether workers should receive the 5% salary increase promised to public servants, and the workers and the union should have been consulted. She says many workers were upset that they had to find out from a section of the press that the board was advised against the salary increase. Senator Moore's comments follow a meeting with management of the authority this afternoon.
And that is a position that the Barbados Workers Union guards very carefully, does not treat loosely to, especially as we are in a very difficult period where, notwithstanding the general considerations that have to be made, there are specific issues and concerns that relate to each of the state-owned enterprises that must be addressed independently and at the level of the boards and management of those enterprises engaging with the respective unions involved.
Senator Moore says there needs to be better communication, making it clear that the salary increase is not the only outstanding matter. She says they will meet with the authority's management again within a week.
The Barbados Workers Union has signaled to the General Manager that we would need to meet on that issue within the next 7 days. And on the issue of the Ministry of Energy relocating to the premises of the Barbados Water Authority, we have been informed that it is just an initial discussion or consideration that has been made, and there will be a team just looking to see if it is possible. And once that information is known, once that perspective is had, then we anticipate that the proper communication channels will be used.
And staying with the BWA, it's the second entity to make a statement regarding a video making rounds on social media. Now, that video shows a minor consuming what appears to be a substance in a Banks beer bottle in the presence of two adults. Now, the male in the video appears to be wearing a BWA uniform. The authority says it condemns this action, which can only be described as irresponsible and disgraceful. While this has now become a police matter and has also been referred to the Child Care Board, the authority is also conducting an internal investigation. And just yesterday, Banks Holdings Limited indicated it had notified authorities about the video, which shows one of their products. Manager of Legal and Corporate Affairs at BHL, Sophia Alsop Cambridge, made it clear that such behavior would not be tolerated. She said their alcoholic beverages should be consumed only by people over the age of 18. In other news now, entrepreneurs looking to export their products or services abroad are being continually encouraged to make use of technology. This from technical advisor in the Office of Trade Negotiations at the CARICOM Secretariat, Joel Richards. He was delivering the feature address at the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation's Export Readiness Program. Mr. Richards says making use of these strategies will make entrepreneurs more competitive in today's international market.
Regarding the digital transformation, there are technological advances in the forms of artificial intelligence, robotics, and social media platforms, just to name a few. These are disrupting the traditional ways of doing business, and those who fail to adapt will be left behind. For example, online trade provides entrepreneurs with a ready market of the over 51% of the global population, or 3.2 billion people, who use the internet.
However, he stressed this was not the only way for entrepreneurs to increase their competitiveness.
However, there are also other things that can be done to drive change and competitiveness in your businesses. For example, if you're producing a product and you want to target a market abroad, instead of having to invest in expensive production infrastructure abroad, a production licensing agreement with a manufacturer of similar products in that market might suffice. There are also numerous opportunities in the area of private labeling, given the trend on the part of many large global retailers such as Tesco and Sainsbury's and others.
A government minister is making a special appeal for Barbadian women to do more to advance their cause. Minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Sandra Husbands, says women are important to any civilization. She believes anytime they are oppressed, a nation is the poorer for it.
We're making great strides here in Barbados, but they're not enough. We definitely have to put more work into it to begin to understand the value that we bring to the entire process of life, and that we are able to see that there are opportunities that we need to seize and take the best advantage of and convert them into those opportunities that will help us to fulfill our purpose here on earth.
Minister Husbands was speaking during the launch of a fund sponsored by the Canadian government and is to help women's organization in the region address gender issues. Canada's Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Development, Kamal Kera, says women must be involved at all levels of government.
That is not just my opinion. There is significant evidence that shows that if you want to end poverty, you must empower women. If you want to build lasting peace, you must involve women. If you want to increase economic growth, you must invest in women. And that's why today I'm pleased to announce that Canada will contribute $4.8 million Canadian dollars over 5 years to strengthen women's organizations and movements across CARICOM countries.
Well, just a few days before the new school year, St. Michael single mother is at a standoff with the Ministry of Education. It's over whether or not she can continue to homeschool her 13-year-old son. The African Heritage Foundation is in the middle of the impasse, providing support to the unnamed single mother. Now, it claims the woman has been told she cannot homeschool her son after failing to show up at an assessment meeting and not keeping up with the ministry's curriculum. President of the foundation, Paul Simba-Rock, says they will not accept the ministry's recommendation to enroll the boy in the New Horizon Academy. He's written to the Ministry of Education as well as the Prime Minister's office, and he's willing to take the matter to the law courts.
We don't accept the decision of the ministry. We don't think it is just. We think it's against the mother's constitutional and certainly her human rights, and we need it addressed. We as the African Heritage Foundation, we have been to court with the ministry already, as you know, and we are willing to go again. We don't want to go there. The mother has already engaged her lawyers. All communications have been sent to him, but we don't want it to have to go to that.
Well, the mother reportedly took the teenager out of school because of what's being described as excessive physical bullying that led to numerous doctor bills. Mr. Rock is charging that certain families are being targeted because of class.
I know other parents who have been homeschooling for years. Not once have they been approached by the ministry. So why this mother? Why now? The ministry has advised or told the parent rather that the child has to be sent to the New Horizon Academy. This is a school, as I Google it, to find out, well, really Stacey Google it, to find out that it is a school for children with behavioral problems. This is a child that was bullied.
And in a dramatic turn of events late this afternoon, the child's father has rejected that side of the story. In an exclusive telephone interview with our Shane Jones, the man who separated from the mother 12 years ago says the claims of bullying are fabricated. In fact, he said they follow a pattern of the child's time in primary school, where he attended 3 different institutions because of similar allegations. He is siding with the ministry that the 12-year-old must return to the school system, claiming the mother to be in no academic position to properly homeschool anyone. He says members within his son's household have reported that no adequate schooling is taking place. And he adds that the childcare board has received letters from neighbors concerned about the treatment of his son from the mother. When Cbc News contacted the Ministry of Education on the matter, a senior official said they will have a response soon. And when the new school term starts on Monday, teachers of the St. George Secondary School will be much better prepared to deal with conflicts. The entire academic staff, including the principal and deputy, took part in a workshop on restorative practices hosted by the Impact Justice Project. Teachers of this school learnt the basics of alternatives to punishment. Senior Education Officer Patricia Warner says she was very pleased with the turnout, adding that it's important alternatives to punishment are embraced.
Look at engaging students and beyond school, your family, your community, in really looking at efforts of how they can remove the blame and the shame, and through dialogue come to some compromise. We are hoping to take it to other schools on invitation. This was our invitation. We know there are other schools who are interested in having the training for teachers, and we are actually excited.
The Barbados Prison Fellowship has suffered a major setback. Thieves broke into the organization's facilities at Payne Road, Carrington Village last night and stole thousands of dollars in equipment, foodstuff and some money. Servant of the fellowship, Thomas Watts, explains that he discovered something was wrong when he arrived to open the building this morning.
I did know nothing gone. I only see the windows and them open, the doors open, so I call the police. And then when the police come, we discover all the things that carry.
So give me a list of what was stolen.
And 2 weed whacker. I had some money in the drawer where I just help the fellas when they come here, the people for the children, that I can give them something to buy, whether biscuit or whatever. And because of that, when I didn't know until the police come. When the police come and I go in, my drawer was ransacked.
Well, the Prison Fellowship supports the children of inmates at the Dodds Prison, and Mr. Watts says the robbery has set them back a lot. He spoke as some mothers were requesting help from the organization for back to school.
We are here to help the unfortunate people. That is why we're here for. We are here for nothing else. We are not making any money for ourselves. Look, that's a volunteer there. I am a volunteer. I don't get paid. And I've been doing this for the last 30 years.
Well, for the second year in a row, Caribbean public safety and law enforcement officials will be trained by the largest law enforcement agency in the U.S. state of Georgia. That's because the Caribbean Law Enforcement Foundation, along with the regional security systems and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, will host a training program right here in Barbados. Director of the GBI, Vernon Keenan, believes law enforcement officials around the world face similar issues.
One of these is human trafficking. We have a unit that specializes in this in our state, and it is a worldwide problem. That'll be some of the training we're doing. We also do training on crime scene investigations, death investigations, cyber crimes, all manner of public safety. And what I've found is that the problems in the Caribbean are the same that we experience in the United States and I've seen in other parts of the world. So there's nothing unique about law enforcement issues in the Caribbean because we have the same issues in law in the United States.
Head of the RSS, Captain Arrington Sherlin, says the training will be vital, and he thanked both entities for their continued support.
In today's realities where security is a challenge worldwide, the experiences that have been experienced by the Georgia Bureau are certainly ones that can be shared with us. And your best practices certainly can be utilized by the military and police forces in the Caribbean region, in particular within the RSS region.
From October 4th to 13th, Barbados will be rocking with the music of top gospel acts from Barbados and across the Caribbean. That's when the Caribbean Echo One People, One Sound Music Festival and Conference takes place. Speaking at the media launch of the event at Sky Mall, Echo Nation founder Arnold Goslin said it's part of an effort to help artists become more aware of what's happening in communities and putting positive music into circulation. It's the second edition of the event, and Mr. Gosling is particularly excited about the prison outreach concerts.
The point that it's reached now in 2018, I remember saying to a few people, that some of them are in this room, that I had actually anticipated it would happen in 5 years as opposed to 2. The work ethic from the Calypsonians and all involved, not just the visually impaired, but all.
We apologize, that was actually not Arnold Goslin. Well, Echo Nation will also be directly contributing to the development of music practitioners in the Caribbean by bringing in some big international names to work with them. One of them is top producer, publisher and songwriter Fred Jerkins III. Meantime, the coordinator of the Calypso competition hosted by the Barbados Council for the Disabled is thoroughly impressed by the growth of the show, as well as the dedication of all those involved. Peter Brito was speaking at the launch of the competition, which is scheduled for October 20th at Solidarity House. The 7 competitors, including 4-time reigning champion Mr. DJ, pulled numbers to determine the order of their performances. Mr. Brito, who's worked with the show for the last 2 years, is pleased with the developments over that time.
The point that it's reached now in 2018, I remember saying to a few people, that some of them are in this room, that I had actually anticipated it would happen in 5 years as opposed to 2. The work ethic from the Calypsonians and all involved, not just the visually impaired, but all, is remarkable to say the least. This group of persons has, in my view, been among the hardest working and the most dedicated that I've ever worked with in any type of a show.
Well, some elderly Barbadians got a rare treat yesterday. 20 of them toured the Grantley Adams International Airport. The group of seniors also got a bit of aviation education while boarding a Liat plane and visiting its cockpit. For many of them, it was an eye-opener.
I've never been in a cockpit before, although I've traveled several times. I've never, on the aircraft, I've never been up there, so it was interesting to see what is up there and what they do.
It was good. I like it. It was interesting to see the manner they control it. It's a lot different from what we would think on a vehicle in the ground.
The airport's corporate communications specialist, Keith Goddard, explained the tour as part of his 80th anniversary celebrations.
We thought that with celebrating 80 years that we wanted to have 80 people over the month of September. And so the National Assistance Board has reached out, worked with us to have those persons divided into 4 tours so that we would tour the entire airport, and then where possible we would have a tour of an aircraft, as happened this morning with Leah.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Cynthia Ford, was also on hand for that tour, and she commended many of the males for showing up.
What blesses my heart this morning more than anything else, the male component with us. Few males would rather stay at home or sit on the shop step and chat with men, but there are males here this morning in a large number, and it says too that they are enjoying it, and they too will be able to have people to bounce off ideas and discussions and projects that they had in mind, or tell about what happened to them in the past and what has brought them thus far.
Health officials in Guyana are concerned about the increase in HIV and AIDS cases among young people. We hear more in this HGP-TV report.
In Guyana, the worrying trend is that a majority of youths begin having sex at an early age, and most of them disregard advice on how to protect themselves. Minister of Public Health Valda Lawrence says that her ministry is doing all that it can at this point to change the situation.
We have been looking at the trend since last year. We reported it, that we have seen an increase in the younger age group, and we did put some other measurements in place. With regards to us expanding those programs, yes and no. The program for 2018 has been rolled out. There is a second phase that will start very soon, and that is some more public awareness that we're doing. But going back to what pertained previously, well, you would not see that happening on that scale because previously it was foreign funded. There was a lot of foreign funded in Guyana, in the Caribbean. What you see is happening in Guyana is not only Guyana, it's throughout the Caribbean. The funds have dried up.
According to Minister Lawrence, many of the non-governmental organizations that collaborated with the government to address the issue of HIV are no longer in existence, or they are not operating in a wide area as they did in previous years because they no longer get the support.
Over to Belize now. A man was killed after a heavy-duty cement mixer at a block factory he was cleaning apparently turned on while he was inside of it. His family is now demanding answers as we hear from Channel 5 Belize.
Family and friends of 21-year-old Jeffrey Hernandez were at the Guinea Grass graveyard preparing to lay the well-known and liked football player to rest. On Monday night, Hernandez was reportedly cleaning a heavy-duty cement mixer at AP Enterprise Cement Block Factory located on the George Price Highway when things took a turn for the worse. The official police report states that around 10 o'clock, one of Hernandez's co-workers heard screams. Upon making checks, he found Hernandez in the mixer, trapped between the blades which had sliced him on his right abdomen. The belief that this was an unfortunate freak accident has not been accepted by Hernandez's family. Hernandez, who worked at the block factory for only 1 week, was not trained how to properly and safely clean the heavy-duty equipment. In fact, he was cleaning the machine without any proper supervision.
The supervisors tell somebody, said, make you wash the machine, and the next friend come and he do the work, and what happened within 2 within less. Then gone, because when the boy ball, nobody made it there. Then people, when we do mind the thing, then do the thing. Because I said, where is supervisor there? Supervisor there for one next side. And when they tell the supervisor what it happened, he run and out all of the current. That's what I hear.
The St. Lucia Teachers Union has taken offense at Education Minister Gail Rigobert's assertion that principals are to blame for delayed repairs to some schools. The union president says he believes the problem lies with government inefficiency.
Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert's finger-pointing at local principals for allegedly failing to submit school plant repair requests ahead of the new academic year has not gone unnoticed. St. Lucia Teachers Union President Julian Monrose has come to the defense of its members and has shifted the blame on the relevant government agencies, including the Ministry of Education. Education Minister Dr. Rigobert disclosed central government provided an EC $10 million allocation specifically for school refurbishment works. The SLTU claims that money was made available only days before school reopened.
The minister also indicated to us in late July
that $10 million had been promised for the repairs of school. But by that time, up to August, the ministry had not received that $10 million. So it is the government agencies, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Infrastructure, they are to be blamed and not principals.
Education Minister Dr. Rigobert accused principals of submitting school repair reports as late as September 3rd, the first day of the 2018-2019 academic year. The SLTU countered. President Monroe's, while not ruling out a possible communication breakdown for delayed school plant submissions, also cited what he says was insufficient time given by the Education Ministry for principals to compile the reports. He insisted the buck stops with the Education Ministry on prioritizing the school repair works.